Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hypnosis Hero, the only podcast that I know of where we interview the some of the world's finest hypnotists, and then we invite them to hypnotize you. That's right, you through the screen. That's right. So, very shortly, within about an hour, 45 minutes or so, you are going to get hypnotized through the screen. So, it's very important. When that begins, we'll give you a little warning, hopefully. We'll give you a little warning. And when we tell you the hypnosis is going to start, you'll know it's going to start. We're not going to trick you or anything. We'll let you know it's going to start. And that's your cue to either sit down, lie down, relax, do that kind of stuff. I'm really super excited. We've got a great guest on tonight, as always. And of course, first of all, we're going to bring in my good friend, tech support himself, a fabulous hypnotist himself, Shawn Kostiuk. Hello, Shawn.
Good evening, everybody.
Scott King is watching. Hello, Scott King. Thank you for waiting for Jim. It's a new movie. Instead of waiting for Guffman, it's waiting for Jim. Shawn, what's going on in your life, buddy?
Well, I'll tell you, it's getting colder up here. We actually had snowflakes in the air last night, so.
Man, Shawn, you ever think about Florida, California?
Florida is a little too underwater for me. California is a little shaky.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about the people.
I guess there are no perfect places. Do you like the cold?
It is not my preference. It is just something that we put up with here.
Gotcha.
If I had my druthers and where I would live, it would probably be in the lower mainland of BC, somewhere where nobody else is, and aren't too many places like that anymore.
Gotcha.
So, but it is what it is, and we just deal with it. So it's a fact of life, and minus 40, minus 45, still got to go to work if you want to eat. So,
wow, I can't even.
That's why we have toques, Jim. Where's yours?
It's right. Where's my toque at? That's right. It's not cold enough for my toque yet, but it will be soon, I'm sure. All right. So, hey, everybody, if you're a hypnotist, please drop your website in the comments there. We're happy to share the love. Good evening, whoever is on Facebook at 7:34. Give us permission to see your face, your name. Otherwise, just tell us who you are. We'd love to know who you are. Please take a moment to like, comment, share. Share is especially important. Share it right now while we're doing this. In fact, I'm going to share it myself just so it looks good. All right. So as I said, if you're new to the show, each week we have a guest hypnotist. We're all hypnotists here, but we invite a guest hypnotist. We chat with them. We find out a little bit about them. And then, of course, we do the hypnosis through the screen. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our guest today. She is a really fabulous hypnotist. She's a board-certified, seasoned professional hypnotist with a passion for others, helping them to unlock their potential since 2019. She used to be a spa owner. Now she's helping people. She's helping them on the inside of their head, not the outside of their head. Everyone, please give it up for Miss Kacee Picot. Hello, Kacee.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. Shoot, Shawn, you know what we forgot? Is there any way that you're able to, can you see the sound effects?
Nope.
Oh,
nope, I don't see them.
All right.
But you know what? I can do sound effects. Let's do Kermit the Frog. Yay! How's that?
That's good. That's good. Let's do this too.
There you go.
Kacee, it's because it's cold up there. It's cold up north. Shawn gets a little crazy.
It's getting cold here too. We had some snow the other day. We're supposed to get snow on Thursday in Vail.
Oh my God, you're in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
It still seems early for snow, even for you guys.
Yeah, it always snows at least once in September. But
really?
Now that we're October, it's game on. Usually they drop the lever on Halloween.
Are you a fan of the cold weather, the snow?
I'm a fan of the snow, but not the cold weather.
Gotcha.
So I like to ski, but it better be warm.
Warm. We got Mark Barris watching, of course. Mark, good to see you. says, I am enjoying the new video layout. Great. We're trying some new stuff out. Kacee, tell us a little bit more about you. How did you, you were a spa owner. When did you discover hypnosis?
Well, I went to during the Rona, when we shut it all down, I was like, oh God, what's going to happen? What if this keeps happening? Because, of course, they're going to keep making new viruses to shut it down again and again. So not knowing what was going to happen. And they said, 6 weeks could have turned into 6 years. We just didn't know. I thought I'd better find something else I can do that helps people, that doesn't hurt my body, because my body's bitchy.
Oh.
And I went to see Dr. Joe Dispenza a couple times. And on the second time I went to a live event in Florida, because Florida didn't have the Rona. One of the gentlemen there that I met, a good friend of mine now, said, he's hypnotizing us. That's why it works so well. And I was like, what? And this friend of mine, Robert, said, yeah, I just went to the college he went to, and I'm a graduate of HMI. And so I was like, hypnotize me. What is this magic? Right? So he hypnotized me, and I signed up the day I got back, and I graduated from HMI in November of 21. And in the middle of that progress, I went to Hypnothoughts. So I signed up in January, and in July I went to Hypnothoughts. And I was like, okay, this is for real. This is like I have found my people. Right? So the first class I took was Ken Guzzo's Evolution Intervention. And I was like, okay, this was like a PhD program, and I'm still in 101. So I was so impressed with the change work, and right before my eyes, it was just not quite witchcraft, but holy cow, this woman got this huge transformation, and it was just mind blowing. And I was like, okay, so that couldn't have been, I've been in therapy all my life. This doesn't happen in therapy, so to see that hammer come down, and she said it was literally like the house of cards just crashed down, like a glass house just shattered, and all that stuff was gone. And I was just like, okay. So I deep dive into the rabbit hole, and I have taken every class I could get. I haven't turned my TV on in 3 years. People are like, what's going on with the politics? I'm like, what? There was a balloon? What? People are, what? Flooding? What? I have no clue what's going on in the news. And I'm glad, because the less news I consume, the higher my vibration stays.
I feel that, definitely. Yeah. I used to wake up, and the first thing I did was turned on the TV to watch headline news. I just had to know what was going on in the world.
Yeah. That's not what's going on.
No. It was great, because I did speaking of great people, what's his name? The Dr. Andrew Weil. I read one of his books, and he said, take a news fast. And I said, oh, I can't imagine. But now, wow. It's,
I know. I used to be like, what do you mean you don't watch TV? What do you talk about?
Right. Exactly.
I'm a hairdresser. We have to talk about things all day. I watch TV so I can be relevant. And now I'm just like, I have no clue what's on the news, and I have so much to talk about.
It's amazing. You still, if you're on social media at all, you still find out about everything, even if you don't want to. I remember my mom. Not in Canada? Really?
No. We have all kinds of weird things going on.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Not like Florida. Florida man ran over his kid. Florida man pulls the alligator out of the microwave. Florida man. Different. Canada's just different from Florida.
Looks like Brian Bay is hanging around, but he's not really visible. I don't know what's going on with him. So maybe he'll come on later. Brian, if you're there, love to see you. So Kacee, now you dived in. Are you saying that Joe Dispenza went to HMI also? Is that what you were saying?
He did. Yeah, he graduated back in the day with Dr. Kappas, the original.
Wow, interesting. Kappas, wow. Yeah.
And so he once in a while he mentions it in his conversations, but he always says, we're in hypnosis. We are taking these, all the medications on TV, and he doesn't talk about it a lot, but he dips into it every once in a while. And in the seminars, he very much talks about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and the alpha waves and the theta wave, always, right? But he doesn't mention his hypnosis history. But yeah, he's mostly a graduate of HMI.
Interesting. Seems like a good comprehensive program, that HMI.
It opened my world to things people, and when I went to Hypnothoughts and met all these people that are just, these are the top of the food chain in hypnosis, the world famous people that are changing lives and are so open-hearted and approachable in any kind of question, and talk to people, like, oh, you've got something going on. Come here, sit with me in this booth. Let's fix this now.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just amazing how open-hearted everyone is that goes there.
Yeah, it's great
And so
event.
smart,
Great event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? You said you said that you were in. You've been in therapy forever. So can you tell us more about that?
When I was a kid, I was in therapy a lot, and I love the explanation that I want to say it was Tom. I'll come up with his name. You know him. He's been around for 40 years.
Silver.
Nope.
Tom.
He does a lot of stuff in Asia.
Tom Silver.
Tom Silver. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say that the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he's the one that said, so when you're on the therapist couch, you're talking about the problem, talk about the problem, right? And Melissa Tears explains, like, you're grinding it deeper and deeper into your subconscious, telling that story again and again. Yeah. Dude, I was on a bar stool for 50 years talking about the story. I was going to do, talking about things that I did that went all over the world, didn't have a passport, just talking about all the things that are wrong, right? And when you go to a therapist, you just talk about it. Well, if you could think your way out of this problem, you'd have thought your way out of it by now, right? So Tom Silver says the quintessential example is Woody Allen. He's been on a therapist couch for 60 years. He's the most neurotic person in the world. Both his therapists stood up for him at his wedding to his daughter. Yeah. So it's not a thinking problem that we're dealing with. It's not a conscious problem, or consciousness could have fixed it by now. That's why I say, we shut it down. We work on the back of the brain. We get into that backstory that's running the real show, because we think it's this and it's nothing to do with what we think it was.
Yeah.
And so many people, when I do processes, they're like, I had a recent client. She's like, when I was a kid, I was in an accident and a lot of people died in this car accident. When we went into her deep dive, it was all about her mom. Isn't it always? Right. So the issue is never the issue. And so, when you peel off those outer layers, what's inside is what's really keeping that steam pot going and blowing the pressure cooker top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, got good news. Brian showed up. Lazy slug. He's finally here. Kacee, get ready to welcome Mr. Brian Bay to the show. Whoa, Brian, step back a little bit. Brian,
how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Oh, it's a beautiful day out here. We've got beer garden. We've got
Well, he tried.
Okay, Brian. Thanks.
Brian, you're freezing up, buddy. All right.
That's what happens when you live on the West Coast, Jim. You just kind of fall off the face of the earth, and then that happens.
You're freezing up, Brian. All right, we're gonna send him away. All right.
There we go.
Yeah, it is interesting, when you therapy and stuff, and I mean, obviously it works for some people. They feel better anyway at some point, but yeah, that whole idea of just reliving the trauma over and over and over again, I think it's important. I do think it helps probably to tell the story once or twice.
Well, it's all most people know about, like hypnosis, like 12-step programs is the last house on the block. I've tried everything. Maybe I'll try hypnosis.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I've had so many recent clients that wanted to quit vaping, and from a high school kid to an 82-year-old woman.
Wow.
They've done what they could to quit. And so they did hypnosis and now they quit. Right. So it still feels like magic to me every time I do it.
Yeah. I agree. It does feel like magic. The name of my company is Mental Magic Hypnosis, because that's what I think of is it's mental magic.
Yeah.
Brian, you're back.
And he's frozen again.
And you're frozen again.
Brian, you're not helping. We were doing just fine without Brian. Who's Brian?
Hey, Brian, I think we're gonna have to catch you next time. I don't think it's coming through. He's I think he's out at the looks like he's out at the Shriners. So Shriners
I heard that.
hospitals, Shriners the Shriner people club organization. They have a Halloween Halloween haunted house thing going on, and he's a big proponent of that. Hey, Brian, that was the last chance. Sorry, buddy, it's not coming through. So he's out working he's out there working the haunted house. Sorry, Brian, we can't get you on. You're just freezing up every time we bring you on. So Kacee, so a lot of vaping clients.
Yeah.
That's really scary too, because I think for a while it was kind of thought that there was a safe alternative to smoking, and now of course we're finding out that it's definitely not a safe alternative. It's
No.
as bad or worse in some ways.
When I was working with that last kid, he was 17 years old, senior in high school, and I was like, do this math with me, because I don't think I'm doing this math right. Like, it's not, the math isn't mathing. I think that the rate that you're vaping, you're at 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day. No one in my life I've ever heard smokes 3.5 packs, and he's been smoking vaping like that for 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And he did the math, and he's like, yeah, the math. Yeah, you're right. Your math is exactly, holy cow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. We can't have kids doing that.
Right. Yeah.
Can't have anybody doing that, especially not kids.
Yeah.
But
that's
the machine,
an awful lot of nicotine.
they lose, I want to say it's 1,475 people a day to smoking every single day. So they have to gain 1,475 people a day to start smoking to keep
profit
the
margins.
numbers.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that's just disgusting that we still allow it. It's, I'm reading about going down and visiting Mexico for a while, and apparently like vaping is illegal. You can't do it.
Really?
And you can't smoke and if I'm understanding it right, you can't even smoke in public. You can't smoke anywhere.
That's great. I mean, it has zero benefit to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except the tobacco companies.
Yeah, exactly. At least if you drink or take drugs, I mean, at least you get to feel good for a bit.
Right?
Cigarettes, you don't even get that. I mean, you get a little buzz when you first start, but then after a while, it's just chasing that dragon all the time, and it's just terrible. This is what we get for lobbying. That's what we get. So,
right. Plan is working.
Exactly, the plan is working. You give me some money for my campaign, and I'll make sure to vote in your favor. Shawn, what's it like up in the great north up there in the hinterlands, or I consider all of Canada the hinterlands, except maybe Vancouver, Victoria. What's it like up there? Is there a lot of lobbying going on up there too?
Canada's a little bit different in the sense that individual representatives don't really get much in the way of lobbying. It's more so to the political parties themselves. And you can tell pretty quickly who's attached to who just by looking at the donor list and figuring out who's greasing whose palms, so to speak. Good example would be the Liberal government, which is in trouble for having a Nazi in Parliament. It's a long story, but suffice it to say that some of the larger corporations have firmly entrenched themselves behind any politician that will get them off the hook for anything that they do.
Yep.
Most of those are located in Quebec and Ontario. The western provinces, where the part where I'm at, the real quote unquote hinterland, if you will, according to the rest of Canada, is more so conservative in the sense that we would prefer to conduct our business and sell our oil and do the things that we have all kinds of commodities. We can feed a lot of people and we could probably stave off the entire electric car industry for the next 10 to 15 years just on our oil. But you can see where that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark makes a good point. The flavored vaping, man, tell me that's not aimed at kids, right? I mean,
it's advertised on Nickelodeon.
Cotton candy. Is it really? Oh my God. Wow.
I would think Nickelodeon would be better than that.
Yeah.
You would think, yes. I would like to think that people are better than that, but that's one of the bad things about money. But I don't know how you get around it. I mean, if people hand me a bunch of money, I'd probably come on and say vaping is great too. What can I say? It'd have to be a lot, though. I mean, to be fair, it'd have to be a lot. Okay, at least.
I don't know if there's that much money that you would compromise children like that. I don't think you would.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's got their price, like they say. I don't know.
At what point? At what point does somebody come with a check to put pineapple on your pizza, Jim?
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Because that's a
boy.
slippery slope.
That's
Once you
good.
compromise on one thing, that's a
Oh, you know
slippery
what?
slope, man.
Good point, guys. Good point.
Yeah.
Keep your moral values no matter what. No matter what. No, I was a smoker too. Shawn, were you ever a smoker?
No. My parents were smokers. All three of us, my brother, my sister, and I, when we would sit in the back seat and they would start smoking, we literally had to roll the windows down or we were choking.
Yeah.
So you could let the leaded gas come in the back of the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was absolutely horrendous, and there was just no way I was ever going to be doing that. So I was never part of the really cool crowd that went outside, in between periods in high school to take a quick drag or two, and that was never me.
Good for you, man.
Same.
Good for you. I was trying desperately to be cool, and it's stupid. I can remember getting those. Did you ever get those flaming cherries in your eye from your parents smoking coming in the window? Yeah, it was terrible. So, anybody out there know what I'm talking about? Like when your parents are smoking, and you're sitting in the back seat, and they flick the ash, and it comes back and hits you in the eye. Nobody had that happen. Just me. Wow, lucky me. How long have you been quit for, Kacee?
I never smoked, but I've been sober for 32 years. So
Oh, nice.
so
Gotcha.
I'm grateful I never smoked. And it's a good thing.
Yeah, no kidding. So, and you just do the 12-step program? Is that how you got out of it?
And do 12 steps, yeah. And, just like anything else, until the pain of staying the same is greater than the fear of change, nobody's going to change. Why would anyone change if there weren't a consequence?
True.
Right.
True. 32 years. Wow, that's that's
It's longer than I drank.
a long time. Yeah. Good. That's awesome. I'm sober too. I'm sort of sober. I mean, I don't really. I went through a period where I was again trying to be really cool, trying to be one of the cool kids. So I was drinking, and I would just drink so much that I was not cool anymore because you look terrible, and when you're throwing up on yourself, not so cool anymore.
Yeah, that didn't stop me.
We would have been great friends because I didn't stop me either. But but it was never really. But once I got away from the social situation, I moved, and then I just didn't do it. I didn't have any access. I didn't have a fake ID or anything like that I could use, and I was only 20, and so it wasn't a big deal. I just feel better though when I'm not drinking or doing anything else. It's weird. I can remember like my friend Heath and I, like no matter what we did, we had to have alcohol. We go to see a movie, we got to take a half rack with us. We go to a dance, we got to drink 3 or 4 beers before we even walk in the door. And I would look at people that didn't do that and think, how can they even have any fun?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Different now.
Liquid courage.
Right.
What's that, Shawn?
Liquid courage.
That's what it was. Absolutely. But the problem is, like, that was really the big issue for me. I had what we now would call social anxiety. I was just really shy. And so I couldn't talk to girls unless I drank. Right. But then, when you drink too much, then they don't want to talk to you because you're just being stupid. Right. And so, it's.
Yeah. I always say I got taller, my hair got blonder, my tits got bigger, my teeth got whiter. I was funnier. I was funny, so funny, not funny at all.
Mark is asking about that quote. Again, can you give that quote about change one more time?
Until the pain of staying the same is greater than the fear of change.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I was compromising my standards faster than I could lower them. And wow. I got in, luckily I got into the program when I was 25. And
nice.
And I am a snoozer. So I knew if I snoozed this and started again on Monday that I couldn't do it. I was done when I got there. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about our hypnosis careers. So
Love it. Oh, we love the hero's journey, though. We love the hero's journey.
it's a good journey. It turns into this sometimes for me, though, you know?
Gotcha.
So,
The grinding. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But I'll tell you what, man, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that program.
Fantastic. That's
I
awesome.
still do. Like the choice tonight was go to an event tonight or come see you guys. So I'll go to the event tomorrow morning.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
event. Yeah, a big conference. So I'm psyched about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm running a 4 Wednesdays in October. I'm offering self-hypnosis on Wednesday nights that I'm doing with whoever wants to join on Zoom to teach people self-hypnosis. And it's my flow program. So it's fluids and sleep, movement, nutrition. So we started on Wednesday night, and it'll be again this Wednesday night at 7:00 Mountain Time. I'm in Vail, Colorado, in the mountains, and I teach a self-hypnosis technique, and then I put people through the hypnosis. And the other night was really cool. People liked it.
Nice. Now, if people, how would people find out about that? Can they go to your website or can they go to your social media?
Brand new website. It's called Neurosculpt Hypnosis.
Neurosculpt. What a great name. Neurosculpt.
Cool?
Can you drop that down there, Shawn, for us?
Already there.
Awesome. Of course. Shawn, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I insulted you like that. He's always on top of things. Always on top of things. What a cool name, Neurosculpt. Now, also, hey, if people are watching right now, if they miss it, is there going to be a replay, or is there going to be a way for them to get hold of it later?
So if they register for the event, they'll get a replay.
Okay, cool.
And they can sign up. Well, now it's just 1 week at a time. It was you could, I guess you could still sign up for all 4 or one at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess whatever you've got going on later, because sometimes people will watch this, it'll be on YouTube forever, Facebook. It might be, they might see it 6 months for a year from now. Just go over to her website, check it out, see what she's got going on. Maybe she'll have something new going on, or just another self-hypnosis. What are your thoughts about that, about stress? Because I'm doing a talk on stress tomorrow.
Doctor's appointments are stress related, and 90% of people missing work are stress related. They're just like, a mental health day is because you're stressed.
Yeah.
And so, part of why I did this, I'm in a neighborhood where we had a rough summer. There were a couple kids that committed suicide. There was an attempted suicide. One of my personal friends found that kid and cut him out of the tree before he died, and survived with 0 brain damage and got help. Got a lot of help. And that's the thing. There's never been more help than there is right now. So to have kids in this kind of pain still, it's just unbelievable. So, parents they're not sleeping. They're sending their kids off to college. Fentanyl's everywhere. We don't know what's happening with the election. We don't know what's happening with the stock market, with the interest rate. There's just stress in the world. Housing prices have gone up, everything's gone up. So people are stressed, they're anxious. And so that was part of why I wanted to do this, to ideally get it into the hands of some teenagers so that they have some tools. But teenagers know everything. So let's get in the hand of the parents, and maybe they'll, somehow leak it into the kids by watch me do this, right? So monkey see, monkey do. And, when I teach kids the bilateral stimulation, I'm like, do this under the desk. You don't even have to have something in your hand to do it. If you're having stress, or if you're at the grocery store and you're in line, or you're in traffic, to do that energy psychology to relieve stress, it's, how incredible it is. So that's why I came up with this plan, because I thought, October is a good time. We're in what we call the off season here. We're in between the high summer season, and the ski season doesn't start for another month. And so people have some time on their hands to do some self-care. And the fall's a good time to do that. And it's absolutely gorgeous out right now. But we're about to have shorter days, and shorter days sometimes affect people's energy and their moods. And, so it's a good thing to start taking self-care. And here's some, each night I'm going to teach a different self-hypnosis technique. And so we worked on sleep on Wednesday night. The Wednesday coming, we'll talk more about hydration, because when we're dehydrated, our whole electrical system doesn't short out, but we're more easily triggered when we're dehydrated. And then we eat more when we think we're hungry, but we're really thirsty, and we should be drinking more water. So it's just, One of my friends was like, "You're going to hypnotize people to drink water," and I'm like, "Yeah," because most people are dehydrated. We don't even realize it, and we get stressed, and so we sweat, so we're dehydrating ourselves more. Where I am at 7,500 feet, the altitude is dehydrating alone. But was just stress dehydrates the body. So water
Interesting.
is very important, and especially good water. Even if you have, even if it's tap water, if you put the Yamoto studies, he puts love on a bottled water or a glass of tap water. You write love on a Post-it note, and it changes the molecular structure of the water, and then it feeds your body differently. Your body receives it differently. Those
Nice.
studies are fascinating. So yeah, water is critical. We can go, I think, a month without food, a week without water, but not very long without air. But the water is a really, really big
Yeah.
lubrication for the body, and the brain needs it. The system needs it. It's really important. We know that, but I think it's easier to be hypnotized into drinking water than to willpower my way into drinking water.
No kidding. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the water or a lot of the liquids we drink are also dehydrating. So,
Totally.
caffeine, of course,
Yeah.
dehydrates. So we think we're getting in, we're drinking some pop, we're drinking, energy drinks that are loaded up with it. We're drinking coffee, and we're just depleting the water.
Totally. I had a friend that was like, coffee's really dehydrating. I'm like, not if you drink enough of it. It's got water in it.
What I learned, the hydration was about minerals, not water. Interesting. So you're getting the minerals in there. Scott says,
big time. Scott's the reason I'm here, by the way.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm in midstream of his awesome class on 100 audios in 10 weeks. And he's helping with scripts through AI, showing us how to make our own music, how to make our own binaural beats, how to record audios. And it's just fascinating. He knows. So it's like last week I was just like glazed over, like, okay, I'm going to have to watch this 5 or 6 times because it was so much information. It's just mind blowing. And I'm going to get those audios out soon. Like you record a bunch of components and then you put them all together and then they flow. And so one of the things he suggested is to get on some podcasts. And I was like, how do you get on a podcast? Thank you.
Yes. Scott's always got some great stuff going on. And getting on podcasts is super. Definitely do that. Scott, put your website down there. How do people take advantage of those offers that you've got going on? A lot of good stuff. I know he's doing a lot of stuff with AI, which is really helpful too. So I'm glad that you were able to come on today. Thank you, Kacee.
I'm thrilled to have been asked.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Shawn.
Absolutely.
Shawn, so what I think about stress, and I find, so I call stress the root of all evil because it makes us eat more, drink more, smoke more, kick the dog, everything.
Yes.
And yet, I'll tell personally, I do all the right things. I at least try to. I walk and meditate. I think I drink enough water. There's a lot of coffee too, and use hypnosis. And still, I find that it's really tough to manage the stress. Any recommendations for me?
To manage the stress for yourself? Aren't you doing a stress relief thing on Saturday, a meetup?
I am. I teach it too. So
right.
Well, for ourselves, I still find myself sometimes in traffic. Oh, I will say one thing that helps me a lot is when I remember to do the ashwagandha. Although now I just heard that could cause some liver problems, so now I'm a little bit concerned about that. But when I take ashwagandha, I do feel it helps a lot.
Do you? Okay. Yeah. Well, do you do the energy psychology? Do you do the yeah?
I don't know what you're doing there, so no, I don't. What are you doing there? What's going on here?
Bilateral stimulation.
Okay,
let's cross the meridian of the body.
Explain
and you
that.
don't even have to have anything in your hand. So
hold on. I'm going to change this so we can see you better. There we go.
You can have, let's say it's a pen. You'd have a pen in your hand. You cross the meridian of the body, change hands, and go across. And you can check your state before you start. Like, oh my God, I'm at a 13 right now.
Yeah.
And you do this 30 seconds. and it's just, there's an energy psychology when the hand crosses the meridian of the body, and you can have something in your hand or not. You can do it under your desk with nothing in your hands. There's something with that energy that the anxiety can't keep itself together, and so it just diminishes. And you can check in after 30 seconds and say, okay, where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, I'm at a 4. Okay, let's do another 30 seconds. And you get yourself down to a 1. That's just one way, right? Then there's another way of eye fixation, where you can focus on something in the room. It can be on the ceiling. It could be anywhere, just something in the room. And you let your peripheral vision stretch out, almost like I can still see my hands to here. To here. They're way out past my, and you can't focus on whatever you're looking at and focus on the stress at the same time, because your attention is now here. And then the opposite of that, where you focus on narrowing it in and on one, small thing, and keep the focus tight. Those things just lessen stress in the body. But really, drinking water and breathing are the number 1 and 2 de-stressors. Just managing your breath, managing your state, just from taking deep breaths, and self-hypnosis. That's part of what I'm teaching in this course. Self-hypnosis all the time is magic. It's just amazing how it lowers your anxiety and helps manage state.
Yeah. Do love the hypnosis, that's for sure. You just reminded me, there's the follow-up, the follow-up to The Secret. I don't know when it came out, but anyway, I was reading that, and they had us do they have you do this exercise. What's that?
Is it The Answer?
Oh, I don't remember what it's called. Could be.
Okay.
I just read it recently, but it's very interesting the way, like when you're doing doing the peripheral vision thing, it gave me this really good feeling, like a connected feeling with, I'd forgotten all about it now until you mentioned it, kind of a connected feeling with I like the people around the world, really. It was kind of interesting.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how'd you up in Vail? Were you born in Vail? Is that where you grew up?
No, I'm actually from South Florida, and my husband and I came here on our honeymoon in 1993. And I was like, we've been here for 2 weeks and no one's been mean to us. Let's move here. And he was like, okay. And so we did. So we've been here since 1994.
All right.
Yeah.
People were being mean to you in Florida?
South Florida is a tough crowd, dude.
Is it?
Yeah. That's why I'm always making fun of Florida. Oh, it's a bunch. Yeah. Yeah. Florida man does, Florida man's always making headlines. It's hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah.
So everybody who's watching, and remember, if you watch later as well, because we didn't do a very good job of promoting this week because you're a last minute guest. So we will get people that'll watch later, not as many on live tonight. Please do drop your comments, your questions. I will forward those over to Kacee. If we get those, if you have questions about what she's doing, the bilateral stimulation, those kinds of things. And what kind of hypnosis would you like to do tonight?
I think we should do something on anxiety, lessening anxiety.
I love it. So let's get the warning up there. All right, everybody, we are going to be starting the hypnosis. And I want to remind you too, if you're listening to the audio podcast later, all of the show, you can find all of Kacee's information in the show notes. So do check that out. And this is the time we start the hypnosis. So whether you're watching or listening, you really do want to take a break now. And please don't. Sorry, I'm trying to get the captions going. There it is. Okay. You really do want to make sure that you're sitting down or lying down, relaxing, because if you're driving around, operating heavy machinery, something like that, you could zone out and someone could be terribly injured, murdered, killed, something, anything like that. So, well, not murdered, hopefully not. It's going a little too far. But here's the thing. Make sure you're sitting down, relaxing while you're doing the hypnosis. Otherwise, just turn this off. Listen to it later when you've got a chance to really relax. Kacee is going to lead us through a hypnosis process. For those of you who have watched before, The way it's going to happen is Kacey's going to start us off, and then Shawn and I are going to jump in from time to time. We're going to make it a three-way. It's going to be a three-way hypnosis process, everybody. And it's going to be awesome. So prepare yourselves. All right, sit down, lie down, relax. Kacee, take it away.
Okay. Take a deep breath in and gently close your eyes. And I want you to envision that you're sitting in a beautiful column of light coming down from the heavens. This light comes down around and through you, this beautiful, sparkly, healing light, down around and through you into the core of the earth. Just take another deep breath in and let this beautiful light enter through the top of your head and just swirl around through your body, releasing any tension, any stress, going down through the body, all the way down to the toes, all the way out through your toes, and just allow any tension or stress just to relieve down all through your body and out through the tips of your toes. And as you take another deep breath, I want you to take a little staircase with Jim.
Fantastic.
Jim's going to take you down the staircase.
You're doing perfectly. And as you're listening to my voice, you may find that all outside sounds and distractions simply vanish into the distance. And they bring you right back to my voice, Kacey's voice, and even Shawn's voice. And as you look at those stairs in your mind, you might just begin to notice the color, the texture. Or perhaps you've already forgotten to remember what those stairs even looked like as you begin to walk down those stairs now. And you can do it at your own pace, or you can listen to my voice and allow me to guide you as you step down to number 9. And as we make our way all the way down to the bottom floor, we're going to call that 1. Go ahead and step down to stair number 8 now. And just noticing your body, just letting go of all the tension, all the stress, all the thoughts, cares, and concerns. And stepping down to number 8, 7, 6. Perhaps you're hearing your favorite music in the background, or maybe you're just hearing our voices. Perhaps you're hearing those deep breaths that you're taking. And stepping down to number 7. And I wonder if you can even feel the texture of that stair. Is it hardwood? Is it carpet? 6. And now on this next stair, I'd like you to think about going twice as deep now. 5, all the way into relaxation. Feeling so relaxed that perhaps you even feel like you're starting to float above those stairs. 4, 3, 2, and on this next step, when you step down to number 1, you're going to go 10 times deeper, and you'll be focused solely on the sound of Shawn's voice as he guides you to the next part of this experience. And 1, all the way down now, relaxing, collapsing, feeling so deeply relaxed.
And finding yourself in a special place, in a place that could be magical, is definitely safe. And as you visualize, as you bring that place into your mind, you'll notice details. Is it sunny outside? Are you inside? Wherever you are, you will know that there is a path forward. And that path forward will simply present itself. And as you focus on where that path is and what that path looks like for you, you'll notice situations and stressors and things that would hinder you simply fall away. And when you find that path, just go ahead and take the first step. Because that journey, that newness, always begins with the first step. As you complete that first step, notice what you see, what you feel, what you hear. Notice what's not there anymore. Where did it go? You left it behind because you took the first step. And you'll know that as you travel down the path, you'll become freer and freer and freer. And as you do, you'll find that that pace, your ability to step, take the actions that you need to take, stress-free, anxiety-free, will come quicker and quicker and quicker. And now over to Kacee.
And as you get to the end of this path, I want you to just feel like the chair that you're sitting in is a time machine. And in this time machine, you can see yourself in the chair, and you can go right up and out of your body, up into the corner of the room, and see yourself sitting in that chair. Notice your silhouette. And notice yourself as you come up out of that chair up into the top of the room. You can go up out through the top of the room, through the top of the building, up into the beautiful night sky. And you can just look down and see this timeline below you. And as you see that timeline below you, you can see your past and your present. And as you look down, you can see in the future, a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years out, 10 years out. So I want you to drop down about 6 months from now and see yourself in that new body with that new life and that new optimism. No more stress. Everything has fallen away off that path tonight when you look back. Drop down into that 6 months from now in the future, into your new self, and just look at how fun it is. And you'll know exactly what you need to do between now and then to achieve that place in your brain, in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, at that new weight, that new life that you're living, happy, joyous, and free, having the time of your life, surrounded by people that love you, people that you love. See their faces, see their smiles. And just remember all the wonderful things you did to get to this place, this day, 6 months in the future. And how wonderful it feels in that new body. That's right. Just envision your new life. You have no idea what can happen between now and then. Living the life you've always wanted to live. Becoming the person you always knew you could be. Good job. Nice. Feel what it feels like in that new person, that new body. How do they walk through the world? How do they buy groceries? How do they drive their car? How do they greet people on the street? That's right. That's the new you. Feel into it. Enjoy this amazing new life.
That's right. You're doing perfectly. And things can happen outside of awareness. And I wonder what you're noticing. I wonder what you're seeing, hearing, feeling. What you're emoting. I wonder what your spiritual side is feeling, if anything. I wonder if you've remembered to forget what you needed to forget and remember to forget all that has ever troubled you. You can always recall those things that you need to recall when you need to, but sometimes they just don't need to be recalled today or tomorrow. So you can put those troubles behind you, always knowing that you can revisit them anytime that you want if you ever felt the need to want to revisit them. Good. And as you begin to hear all three voices overlapping now, it's going to help you go even deeper now.
Anxiety
Good.
drifting away, dropping
That's right.
away, fears lessening,
Exactly.
As you go
Doing
deeper,
perfectly.
knowing exactly what to do now.
Exactly what to do now.
That's right.
exactly what to do.
Good.
Breathing deeply.
You're reminded to take those deep breaths when you need to. Sometimes you find holding them to a count of 4 and then just letting go.
On the exhale, longer than the inhale.
Good.
And each time you walk through a new doorway, you're going to remember that you need to drink more water.
More water.
You'll sleep more restfully. You'll wake up feeling refreshed and revitalized.
Feeling so good.
Taking
So relaxed.
all the next steps.
Good. And there's a part of you that knows exactly what needs to happen to relieve yourself of all the stress, the anxiety, the tension.
You know what exactly needs to happen.
In fact, it's
You know
already
how to
begun
relieve
to
that
happen.
stress. It
That's right.
begins every step you take. Those fears and worries drop away,
Dropping,
fade away,
fading,
drift away,
drifting.
living this new happy life, free of
Good.
anxiety, knowing exactly what to do, knowing exactly what direction to go, the perfect right next step. The path is
Good.
always laid out in front of you,
Just like that.
just like that.
Just like that.
That's right. Easier and easier.
Good. And as you begin to return to your normal state of being, you're going to find that you'll take in everything that you need to take in, grasping it, everything that you've learned from this session, leaving behind anything that didn't seem quite right. Good.
Coming back to everyday awareness.
That's right. Focusing on what you need to focus on. Letting go
Bringing
of
back
what you
all
don't
the
need to.
learnings.
Good.
You know exactly what to do.
Every step
Exactly.
forward is freedom.
And as we begin to count you now from
5,
1 to 5, you'll find on the count of 5 you'll be rested, refreshed. And if it's a time for sleep or relaxation, you can continue doing so. And if it's a time to be wide awake and alert, you'll be wide awake and alert. And as we all now say, 1, good, starting your journey back.
2, coming back into your body.
And 3, taking in a nice deep cleansing breath.
Deep breath in.
4, good, perhaps beginning to move the body a bit as you're coming back.
Energy coming into the fingers and toes. And 5, eyes open, wide awake.
Rested, refreshed. All the way back now. Good. That was great. That really flowed well, I thought. What'd you guys think?
That was awesome.
That was a first. It was cool.
Scott says he likes it. We're incorporating that. I really like it when we do that. I think we got to do that more often. It's a little weird when you get started. I mean, because you don't want to step on people, but I think getting all those voices in there can be really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And please, if you followed along with the hypnosis, please let us know how that went for you. Whether it was, whether you felt something amazing or didn't feel anything at all. Let us know. We always want to know. Kacee, have you ever been someone that was afflicted with high amounts of stress?
Sure. Yeah. When I opened the spa that I'm in right now, I did it on I'd been working at a bunch of different places, and I had a boyfriend at the time that said, "Oh, take this place. It's great. It's perfect for you. You're going to do all the things you want to do. It's going to be great. I'll take care of the house bills. Just do this. Just make it great." And 4 days after I opened, he left.
Oh,
And I'm like,
oh no.
I signed a $100,000 lease predicated on someone else helping me with this overhead. So yeah, it was stressful,
Wow. Wow.
to say the least. It was stressful.
Yeah. But you made it through?
Made it through.
Made it
And I
through.
was not one day late on that rent in 3 years.
Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. And turned a big profit, as it turns out. So
Excellent. Right
yeah.
on. Well, I want
And
to
now it's
thank.
for sale.
Oh, look, Danielle says it was nice, different at first, but I could follow along well. Fantastic. Very good.
Right.
Danielle, another fabulous hypnotist, met her out at the Michigan conference.
Awesome.
Pretty late.
I've heard that that's
not too
great.
bad. Yeah, it was great. It was a fun. It was a fun conference. Great. Anything before we head out from you two? Anything else?
Thank you so much for inviting me on tonight. I really appreciate it.
It was our pleasure. You're a fantastic guest. Yeah, the multiple overlapping hypnotist is one of my favorite techniques, Scott says. I like it too. And, so I'll tell you one of the problems is I pretty much always invite the guest to do that, for all of us to join in together. But oftentimes what I hear, and this is so funny to hear from a hypnotist, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I've never done it before." And I'm always like, yeah, first time I did it was the first time I did it. I had never done it before either. It's interesting, especially like I said, when it comes from a hypnotist who feels uncomfortable. It's like, let's break through that. Let's do something for that right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In fact, when we first started doing this, people, I've had people that didn't want to come on the show because again, and they also say, "Well, I can't hypnotize somebody if I can't see them." Well, that's the challenge. You will hypnotize people. You'll see people will get hypnotized, and you don't have to look at them. So it's we're breaking new ground here, people. That's what we're doing. So thanks for doing that with us, Kacee.
That's great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll put in a plug for Wednesday nights if you're free and you want to jump into a really good, soothing session of hypnosis Wednesday nights. I was in with Kacee on the first Wednesday, and I can tell you, top notch. Kacee's voice when she gets going, and you heard it here, it's just silky smooth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And everything just flows. It's a really great experience. So said the people that were there.
Thanks.
Nice.
It was really good.
I
So
will
this Wednesday we'll be talking about drinking water.
Fantastic. I will have to do that as well. Stop in on a Wednesday. Amazing Cindini. Hello, Cindy. How are you doing? Met her out at the Heartland Conference. She's a stage hypnotist and magician. She's moving into stage hypnosis, magician to start off with. Thanks for
Awesome.
joining us. And Danielle says you do have a great voice. Kacee, thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
check her out on Wednesday nights, everybody. Go head over to her page right now. You're probably friends with her. If you're not, I think we have her Facebook page on here. Shawn, do you have any shows coming up? When's your next show?
My next show is coming up in November. I have in the cold. I actually have to drive 3 hours north of here to a town that I used to live in when I was a wee lad. And for those of you that want to make short jokes, I was a wee lad at one time. Town is called Hudson Bay, and it is the Elks Club, and it'll be a combination show. My friend the magician Citric James is going to be there performing his magic act, and I am his opening act. So, and I think the reason is pretty straightforward. When you're at the Elks Club, it's probably better that I go first because they'll still be sober.
That'll come in handy.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Go ahead over to my be sure you're watching my events page over on jimkellnerhypnotist.com/events. I'll be adding some new events up there. I'm working on my spring tour down in Arizona. Speaking of Elks Clubs, I will be at the Elks Theater in Prescott, Arizona, one of my favorite places to play. It's interesting too. When I first got contacted by him, I've only seen like Elks Clubs where it's just smoky and a lot of drinking going on. But the Elks Theater is a totally different experience. So I don't know why that is, but I was grateful for that. So they're all smoking in the club up there, Shawn?
No.
Oh, good.
No,
Yeah.
Canada went non-smoking indoors about, somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago at least. It was actually, we talk about going to Hypnothoughts and the old venue. When I walked in there, it was a shock to my system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was actually such a shock to my system that it took me about 2 months to actually recover from that. So,
Wow.
Really?
yeah.
Damn.
And now I've got a really great inhaler with a really great steroid, and anytime that tickle even starts, I can usually nip it in the bud, and in a week I'm back on track. So it's always good to breathe. I go back to Mr. Miyagi. He was the great teacher. Daniel-san, no breathe, no life.
Yes.
That's it. And he could say the same thing about water, but he never did. So,
Right.
so we need another water teacher, and I think that's Kacee.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening. Remember, the show is Hypnosis Hero. You can find it on Spotify, all the popular platforms, and, of course, YouTube.com/Jim Kellner and also /Hypnosis Hero. All right. Take care. Be well.